The NFL offseason is currently underway. Here are some of the most important dates to keep an eye on. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears offseason update video. There's not too much to talk about lately. Obviously, no Bears news going on because it's kind of a dead time right now in the NFL. So I thought I'd make a video kind of going over the offseason schedule for the Chicago Bears and for the rest of the NFL, obviously. Okay, just going over which days to look out for, when important stuff is going to be happening. And it's going to be a pretty exciting offseason, guys, because everybody is new. Okay, we have a brand new general manager, new assistant general manager. We're going to have new scouts probably as well. So, the front office structure changed a whole lot. The coaching department also was completely revamped. We didn't keep a single person from the Matt Nagy era. So a lot of change happened. There's going to be a new approach, new guys running the show. So it'll be interesting to see what these new guys do during their first offseason with the Chicago Bears. But getting into this video, guys, I'm going to be going over, all the dates then. And this is coming from the Bears and the NFL website. So if you guys want to read up on this yourselves, feel free to do so. But the first important thing going on this offseason, February 22nd to March 8th, currently happening right now, is that NFL teams can franchise tag or transition tag their own players. Now, this is probably not going to apply to the Chicago Bears because I don't think we have any candidates for the franchise tag. The only person I could possibly think of is maybe James Daniels, but you don't usually put the franchise tag on a guard, so I can't really see us using that franchise tag. We already franchise tagged A-Rob last year, and it would not make sense to do that again to him because, first of all, he doesn't want to be here. Second of all, that franchise tag increases in value if you use it in consecutive years, so it would not make financial sense to use it on A-Rob or really anybody on the Chicago Bears. So we're probably not going to tag anybody during that time, but March 1st to March 7th is also the NFL Scouting Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, which will be a pretty big time for, Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. Okay, they'll have the chance to go there to talk with some players, send their scouts there as well, and really get a feel for who they want to draft in the 2022 NFL draft. A lot of these day 2, day 3 guys are going to be there at the combine, and we don't have any picks in round 1, so we're mostly going to be talking to these day 2, day 3 guys and trying to get steals in the later rounds. So that's going to be a pretty important period of time for Ryan Poles, for our scouts, for everybody there. Then March 8th is when the college pro days begin, right? So then if you want to go to any of the college's pro days, right? If you want to see a guy that maybe wasn't at the NFL Combine, or maybe you just want to talk with their coaches or just see them, at their college, that's when you can do it, okay? So starting that day, you can have dinners with them, you can have meetings with them, you can have interviews with them, and you can expect the Bears to do this with, some of the top schools, okay? Maybe Ohio State to look at the receivers, maybe Georgia to look at some of their defensive players. So we could be going to a lot of the top colleges, some of the smaller ones too, to go to some of the pro days starting March 8th. Then March 8th to April 20th is when NFL teams can actually host up to 30 draft eligible players at their facilities for visits and for exams, right? So this is also another step in the scouting process to see who you want to draft. The Bears are going to be inviting some select players to House Hall to interview them, to see them do workouts, to have our coaches speak with them. So another pretty important time for the coaches, for the Bears. And the big one, guys, March 14th to March 16th is pretty much when free agency begins. Okay, that's when NFL teams can negotiate with, have contact with current free agents, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, okay, because we have a new general manager and we don't know what to expect with this general manager. Okay, we had the same general manager for 7 years before that, Ryan Pace, and we kind of knew how he operated, okay, what type of players he looked at and what type of spendings he usually made. But Ryan Poles, we have no idea what to expect. Okay, kind of hinted at looking at some of the bargain players, some of the second wave, third wave of free agency guys. So he's probably not going to go after any of the big ticket guys like, like JC Jackson or Devontae Adams if he becomes a free agent. And I think that's a smart thing to do, right? Because we don't have the luxury right now to only sign one player. We have 30 free agents. We do have a lot of cap space, but that cap space is going to run out fast if you focus all that spending only on a couple players. So I think filling in the roster holds and, making sure we have depth on the roster is going to be more important than only going after some of the higher name players. So hopefully Ryan Poles, he gets some good deals for us and, signs some good players to some bargain deals and improves the talent on the Bears roster during that time. March 16 is also pretty important because that's when the new league year starts. So after 3 p.m. Central Time, you have to be under the salary cap. Okay, if you're not, then you probably have some fine to pay, or I don't know what happens, but you have to be under the salary cap. The Bears are well under the salary cap right now, so we should be fine. But teams like the Packers, the Saints that are 50, 60 million over the cap, it might be a rough time for them. So that's pretty much everything going on in March. Then in April, the first thing happening, April 4th, is that teams with new head coaches can begin off-season workout programs. And obviously the Bears are one of those teams. So Eberflus, Luke Getsy, all the new coaches that we have, this will be the first time, actually working with the Bears roster, whatever is left of that roster at that time. It's going to be pretty important, especially for Justin Fields to have those workouts, okay, with this new offensive coordinator, because this new offensive coordinator will be designing this entire offense around him, around Justin Fields. So pretty important time period for the Bears. After that, we have a few weeks of not really much going on, but then it is the biggest event of the entire offseason, April 28th to April 30th, the 2022 NFL Draft in Las Vegas. This is my personal favorite event of the entire offseason. I love the NFL Draft, seeing which players the Bears are going to get from all these different colleges across America. It is always so much fun. Now, the Bears don't have a first round pick, so we're probably not going to be picking anybody on April 28th, the first day, round one, but I guess trading up is a possibility too. Now, we don't really have the draft capital to be trading up most likely, but you never know. Okay, Ryan Poles is a first-time general manager, so we'll see what he does in his first NFL draft. It should be a lot of fun. May 2nd, also a pretty important time, is the deadline for NFL teams to exercise their fifth-year option for players selected in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft. Now, we did not pick anybody in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft because we traded that pick away in the Khalil Mack trade, so this will not really apply to us. Beginning of May then, either May 6th to 9th or 13th to 16th, clubs can hold their 3-day rookie minicamps from Friday to Sunday or Saturday through Monday in one of those 2 weekends following the draft. So whoever the Bears pick in the draft, they'll be working out at House Hall during one of those weekends. But that is pretty much everything going on until training camp starts in late July. Okay, not much going on from obviously May to July. The summer months are pretty dead for the NFL, but we do have a lot of stuff going on the other months, and hopefully it should be a lot of fun during this off season. Like I mentioned, man, there's so much change that happened in the Bears organization. So just seeing how these new guys will treat their first off season, it's going to be pretty interesting. Like, I don't really know what to expect. It makes me a little bit scared, obviously. Maybe scared isn't the right word, but anxious to see what they do, because like I'm saying, like, I don't know what to expect, but hopefully they hit home runs, okay, in free agency, in the draft, because that's what they got to do, man. I mean, we have such a good, talented quarterback in Justin Fields, and we have to build the foundation around him to see those talents actually turn into something. Okay, last year we really screwed Justin Fields over by not addressing the offensive line properly. I mean, we kind of did with the rookie tackles, but that was not good enough, okay, for a rookie quarterback. We needed more help on the interior. We didn't get it. The cornerback department last year was also very thin. A lot of areas on the roster were extremely thin, especially receivers. So last offseason was not good enough. This offseason needs to be a lot better. And hopefully Ryan Poles will ensure that will happen. Let me know your thoughts down below. What offseason event are you most excited for? But hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, bear down.